Hi guys. Before we proceed to this video, we've got something very important to share with you. Neoliberalism, Inequality and Authoritarianism by Professor John V. Kofis is available for purchase. You can order it directly from the publisher Little French eBooks or through Amazon.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I want to invite you to watch an interview regarding the eminent American scholar Noam Chomsky. It has been my privilege to have crossed paths with Professor Chomsky from the 1980s until a couple of years ago when I interviewed him with another colleague, did a couple of interviews with him. It is impossible, it's literally impossible to cover the enormous scholarly contributions of Professor Chomsky in a video session of about an hour and a half or so. It is also impossible to to discuss and analyze the many contributions Professor Chomsky has made to the domain of social justice and social activism, not just in America, by the way, where he's from, obviously. Most of his academic career associated with MIT. Then after he went into semi-retirement with Arizona. So the University of Arizona. So the video session, the podcast session, will focus on some of the convergence of my own interests, which happen to be in the domain of international affairs, as of course are his, but one should keep in mind that Professor Chomsky in the 1950s revolutionized the domain of theoretical linguistics. This is where the foundation was for his scholarly career, namely in the domain of linguistics and philosophy of language. He then, in the 1960s, during the Vietnam War and the civil rights movement, Professor Chomsky became active in that movement, as did a number of American scholars, academics, and he remained true to that movement, although many viewed it at the time as a trend and moved on with their careers. Not so with Professor Chomsky. To this day, and I should mention, by the way, that the professor was born in 1928, so he's 96. To this day, he remains active, urging people in the United States and around the world to pursue social justice, environmental justice, international peace, and an end to the nuclear arms race. This is a rarity of an intellectual. In the longer video, what I do is take a look at very briefly at his vast career and scholarly contributions, more than 150 books published, countless articles, countless interviews, by the way. As I mentioned, I participated with another colleague in just two of those. And one of the things I want to stress, because I'm obviously highly indebted to him, is that he not only helped me in my at the beginning of my career, but he has helped countless people around the world. This is a man who always provided support for colleagues, and the underlying the underlying theme of his work in the domain of international affairs, environmental justice, social justice, uh, of course, the peace movement, was always to endeavor to achieve a better society universally, by the way. This is a man who, by his own admission, uh, has been driven by the ideals of the age of reason of the 18th century, the ideals that also, by the way, Albert Einstein shared, namely that we can achieve a better society. Although many critics of Professor Chomsky argue that he's pessimistic, he's critical of this, critical of that. The fact is that if you study the Enlightenment or the Age of Reason, what you find is that first you analyze the status quo, as does the professor, and then you try to find what is the best solution for society. That means all of society, inclusive, no exclusivity, no marginalization of people. And this underlies the goals of his work. Whether he deals with the issue, let's take a very hot button issue right now, which is, of course, the Israeli genocide in Gaza, or whether he deals with environmental justice or the media, the role of the media in manipulating public opinion through the control of the means of communication, the fact that especially today with technology and the and social media having even more powerful impact globally than does the old mainstream media. Professor Chomsky's goal is driven by values based on, and I will use an ancient Greek word, what I call anthropocentric, which means human centered. This is a humanist, um, and a indeed a man who is to be emulated by all people who believe in the ideals which he does, which is namely, as I pointed out, peace, social justice, um, end of nuclear arms race. I invite all of you to join and to, of course, write questions, write comments, and to please join Asad Alim's educational channels. I thank you very much for listening. Thank you.